In this video, I'm going to show you 7 ways to handle the objection, the price is too high. And in yesterday's session, I made it clear to you that, you see, an objection, there are several things that can be done to make sure that you don't even have to hear the price is too high, or reduces your chances of hearing the price is too high. Now, if you've done all the things I mentioned yesterday, nevertheless, you still hear the price is too high, I'm going to show you 7 things you can do right now. But I will encourage you not to go straight to these 7 things, not to jump on these 7 things as a starter. Make sure that you always begin from the things we shared yesterday to help your prospects, have them trust you, have them realize that your products or what you're offering them is far more valuable than what you're asking them to pay. Now, the first point is this. When a prospect tells you, now, please remember, I used to sell in an organization where I brought in 21 HNIs in a single month. I was top selling salesperson. Did a sales competition where I was sent to the World Cup for an all-expense paid trip. Great portfolio of $3.5 million to over $7 million. So I've done sales for a while, and I've helped over 23,000 salespeople across 5 countries. And we have practical, real-time testimonials of people's before and after experiences when it comes to sales. So, objection handling tactics. Here, we're looking at mental or perception battles. What do I mean? I'm just trying to let you know that your idea of the price is too high. It is an objection that the prospect is trying to say, this is slightly above my budget. I don't have enough resources right now to allocate to this. So, it's not as complex or as far from the price is too expensive. It's too expensive and the price is too high. It's not really the same thing in the mind of the prospect. When the prospect says it's too expensive, in his mind, he feels like the value is nothing compared to the amount of money you're telling me to pay. But price is too high, meaning I've seen the value, but it's not my budget constraints. If I can get a better way to pay, if you can do something for me, I can take action. So there are a lot you can do to help the prospect take action here. Number 1, give 3 options. Give 3 options. Now, the strategy of giving 3 options to your prospect is when you're communicating the price of your product or service, you work for an organization, and in that organization, your company may not give you 3 options. It may just tell you this is the price of the product or service. However, you want to use your own creativity to come up with 3 levels of value. The upper limit, middle, and the lower. It's like saying option 1, option 2, option 3. Option 1 will have the highest value and the highest price. Option 2, slightly lower value, lower price. Option 3 will have the lowest value and the lowest price. Now, the whole idea of giving 3 options is it affects the prospect psychologically. And that's why I talked about perception battles. How they perceive the price at that moment can help them make a decision. It affects the prospect psychologically, and the prospect is thinking, do I go ahead or do I not? Yes, in my mind, it's too high, but should I go ahead or should I not? It will remove them from should I go ahead or should I not to which of these options should I choose? Just like how we talk about booking appointments, and we say things like, do not ask the client, when are you available, sir? What time is convenient for you? That's what the prospect will be thinking, should I take this appointment or should I not? Instead, if you give the prospect 2 options for a meeting and you say, do we do tomorrow 9 a.m. or do we do Thursday 2 p.m.? He'll be thinking, should I pick this date or that date? So in the same way, give options too, so that the prospect can think, do I pick option 1, option 2, or option 3? Now, research has shown that, or psychologically, prospects most times go for the middle option 2. And that's why when you want to sell this using this tactic of giving 3 options, you want to put the best option at the middle. The most likely option that you want to sell, put it at the middle. Then put something higher at the beginning, there's something lower at the end. So there's no limit to your creativity. And that's why I said you want to use creative means, right? To be able to say, oh, this is how I want to categorize the options. So you can decide to even batch solutions or products together. It can be that option 1 is a higher version, Maybe for example, if it's real estate, if it's a higher it's the option one, maybe the penthouse. Option two, maybe another aspect of the property. Option three, another aspect of the property. Sometimes properties are priced maybe based on the view, maybe based on corner piece, different factors that you would use to decide which is option one, option two, or option three. And that's why I said, even if it's not properties, for example, any other kind of solution, you can batch some of your products and solutions together so that you can raise your price to create an option one. So it's not as if I want them to buy option one, because I created a product, or I batched some products together to create a price for option one. The focus I'm trying to move them on is option two, because psychologically they tend towards option two. So option one is just a way of me creating an option for them to be able to choose option two. Option three is also the same way as well. So give 3 options so that's way you can help them move their perspective of which should I choose. Now, I've seen cases where when you give prospects 3 options, they will still be trying to negotiate within these 3 options. But at least they are no longer saying the price is too high. They are now trying to pick and choose between these 3. The previous case was price is too high, I don't do business. In this time now, they're saying, okay, I think I've seen something. However, let me see if I can negotiate something within these 3. Now, give room for negotiation, right? If you can, because sometimes prospects feel like, if they've not negotiated, it is not a good deal for them. So give room for negotiation, but as much as possible, try to make them stay within the 3 options. I'm not telling you now that you should set up the 3 options such that they are negotiable. Set them up in such a way that they are non-negotiable. However, you're going to watch the body language of the prospects, and if it looks like he's not going to go ahead, he wants to walk away, despite these 3 options, you can then do a slight tweak in negotiation to give them a rebate or reduced price across these 3 options. Now, number 2, break the price into fragments. For example, daily amounts. So somebody says, how will I pay this amount? Break it down. For example, I remember I was in a meeting with the prospect and I'm trying to discuss some services. And during this call, when we told them the fees, he said, wow, that's a lot. And I said, what? I said, if we break that down by the number of people who are going to be receiving the service, that will be this amount per head. You see that? Or I went another route. If we break this down by the number of days, we'll do this for you in a year. That will be this amount per day. So when you break it down, it almost becomes bite size and becomes very affordable and very cheap. So you want to try this option as well. Number 2, sell the desire. Sell the desire or problem and ask what their plans are. Remember what we said yesterday? We said, before you communicate value, make sure you amplify the problem. To amplify doesn't mean to make the problem worse or amplify the opportunity. It doesn't mean to make it worse. To amplify means to make it clearer and more visible. For example, if I'm speaking with the microphone right now, my voice should be amplified, but I'm not going to be changing what I'm saying. So it's not like I'm making it, so I'm not changing, the content is not changed. The issue or the thing I'm saying is still the same thing, meaning that if the prospect tells you what their needs are, the need is still the need. The only thing you're going to do is that you're going to make it more visible to the prospect. And you're going to ask what we call consequence actions. Consequence actions have to do with, okay, imagine somebody saying, this situation I want fixed, and it's like, I'm currently losing $1 million every day if this continues like this. Oh, wow. So, sir, this means that if you're losing $1 million every day, this means that are you telling me in the last 30 days you've lost 30 million? Actually, yes. In the last 6 months, you've lost, you do the math accordingly, 180 million. So just trying to show you that you want to try to intentionally amplify the problem, because if you amplify the problem in the mind of the prospects, it would help them realize that what they are paying to solve that problem is nothing compared to the problem. And you also have to help clients remember that, sir, nature requires a balance. If this problem is costing you this amount, and we're telling you to pay only this amount, is that not natural? Wouldn't you be shocked if you're trying to resolve this problem of $1 billion and you wanted to pay $1 million to resolve it? So if you try to help them strike a balance so that they know that what you're offering them to pay is really low. So I said, give 3 options, break the price into fragments, sell the desired problem to ask them what their plans are. There are people who, after you've amplified to them, they now act like, no, they're still not ready to go ahead. And that's why I said you want to make sure that this problem is a strong desire for them that they want to solve. So you need to ask them if they're still pushing back. You need to ask, okay, so what exactly are your plans? Just what the plans are. Do you have what are your other options to resolve this issue? What do you want to do? So that's where you help to put things in context for them. Another thing you can do is that you want to use urgency. Why is urgency important? Your competitors are not people in the same industry with you trying to get the prospect's attention. Your competitors are anything they could have used that money for. If your product or service costs 2 million naira, for example, your competitor is anything the prospect could have bought with 2 million naira, whether it's the flight tickets, whether it's an outfit, whether it's fuel for his office company generator, whatever it is you could have used that money for is the competitor. So you want to make sure that you put some level of urgency. And your urgency needs to be genuine. It needs to be true. So things like change in prices, things like number of units we have left, things like for example, I remember I was doing some work for a client and I told them, I said, part of ways you can create urgency is how many salespeople are in this company right now? They said we're about 30. How many meetings do people have? Each person have every day. Everybody has, on the average, about 4 meetings per day. So this means that in a day, 4 times 30, that's 120. That means that in a day, 120 meetings are happening to sell this particular product. That means that in a week, that's 5 days a week, we have 600 meetings happening. That means in a month, we have 2,400 meetings happening. So we tell the prospects, we have 2,400 people, or we have 2,400 prospects who have been engaged for this product right now. There's no guarantee that by close of business today, we will still have any units left. So you see, you're trying to create genuine urgency so that way you can really tell the client is interested. What if the client says, or the client, yes, wants to go ahead? What if the client says, or the prospect says, okay, no problem. Even if I can't pay for it now, I'll get it later. But sir, the price will be higher then. I'll pay at that higher price. That's a red flag. That's a red flag. Don't worry, don't even bother. He's not going to pay at all. There's something else that is concerned that's not helping him take action. The moment he gives someone, there is nobody who would rather pay higher later, especially if you have the resources to pay now, except maybe they don't have the resources. And that's why you have to make sure that you follow the sales process and qualify the prospects accurately. Number 5, social proof. Share testimonials. Constantly talk about people who just bought. And that's why it's important that if you work in an organization, you have meetings with your salespeople. You have meetings with your colleagues. Hopefully, your team lead or your manager is setting up meetings with you. As time goes on, we're going to talk about being an effective team lead, so we'll address all those things. When you go for those meetings, it's important that in your meetings, you hear that people are buying. You should be hearing about the more you hear that people are buying, the more confidence it gives you to engage your prospects. So when you tell them things like, oh, someone just bought yesterday because you heard it in your meeting. Oh, someone just bought 2 days ago and this was how much you bought for because you heard it in your meeting. It just helps you give them confidence that people are actually buying this product or service and help them take action. So share testimonials. Now, there's a number of testimonials you need to share that would make it very compelling, right? If you share only one testimonial, it will not be enough to move the prospect above the line. You need to make sure that you share at least 3 testimonials. Most times when I ask salespeople, for example, if I ask you now, listen to me, be honest with yourself. How many testimonials do you have in your arsenal? How many testimonials do you have ready for sales meetings you probably have today? How many? So make sure you have at least 3. It doesn't have to be your own personal testimonial for people who have bought from you. You can talk to people who in your organization who have been there before you, who have been there longer, and confirm from them, oh, share with me some of your testimonials. Then based on that, you can have them saved up, written out, and be able to make reference to them whenever you have to engage prospects. Now, a testimonial is not somebody bought from me yesterday, and because of that, I was able to meet my budget. That's not a testimonial. A testimonial has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with the prospects. How the prospect's life has been upgraded and improved. That's what a testimonial is. A testimonial must have a before and an after. It should be like a movie. You should communicate it like a story, like a movie, such that the person feels like, oh, this was how things were before. This was the problem. This was the situation before. This is the situation after, as a result of the intervention of your product or service. So that's way, and you see, the testimonial should be able to move the prospect emotionally. Meaning that when you're talking about the problem, your facial expression, like a story, like a movie, the soundtrack changes when there are challenges. Then when the opportunities have come and the great things have happened, the soundtrack changes, the emotion changes. You want to make sure that your testimonial transits emotionally, so that the prospect can move emotionally with you. You see, selling is a transfer of emotions. And emotions means energy in motion. Decisions by prospects are made emotionally and justified logically. This means that if I move you emotionally, I most likely can get you past the line of price is too high. So one of the things you can do is that you want to share testimonials with the right emotion. Move them from beyond the chasm, from one level to the next. Number 6, that's what we call the give all and take out some. Give all and take out some. So this means when you want to sell from the top. Sell with the highest service or the highest solution. Don't begin with the cheapest one. Someone says, but you can't afford it. I know. But at least if you let him know that this is what it's going at, and he really loved it. You see, price mentioned before value has been understood is a sale lost. So when you sell to a prospect, sell the highest value you have as an organization. Make it so exciting and so lovely, using emotions like sharing testimonials, asking questions, moving from primary features into secondary features, using very descriptive scenarios of the features, making statements like, just imagine what it would look like if, as a pilot, you're bringing even his profession into context while you're trying to describe the benefits of the product or service. So you make it so exciting for him. Then when you now mention the price, because it's the highest solution. If it's real estate, for example, you mention the price of the penthouse, and it's like, wow, man, that's a lot. You see, you want to build rapport with your clients and make the conversation engaging enough, such that when you mention that price, if it is really a lot, they should be able to tell you and say it. But if the prospect is the one doing most of the talking, if you are the one, rather, the salesperson doing most of the talking, and the prospect is just listening to you, when you mention the price, he will be too ashamed to say, price is too high. But if you allow him to do most of the talking and you're building rapport, then he'll be confident to tell you, price is too high. And you're like, oh, okay. Would you prefer if we give him the next level option, right? This is slightly cheaper property or units, depending on the kind of product you sell. So you see, we have different people in different industries listening to these trainings. The benefits of us coming to your organization to run these programs is the fact that at least we can tailor it to you and to your examples, right? But generally, like this, the industries are too vast to be able to use examples across everyone. So I don't see the closest one that comes to mind. But I'm sure you're getting the concept. So use the give all and take out some. I remember there's a trick or psychological trick a restaurant did. They found that when people came into their restaurants to get food, they already had a certain meal. For example, they would say things like maybe English breakfast, for example, right? Packaged, prepackaged. And all the things that should be in that meal would be there. Then when the client comes and says, I'd like to have, I say, okay, this is what it contains. Now they would mention things the client did not want, and they'll say, this is the price. And the guy says, oh, no, I don't want that. Okay, it's okay, let's take out this, let's take out that. They will now start taking out things from the package. Because they're taking things out, it now starts making prospect feel like, man, I'm not sure so much, so interesting and so valuable like it was before. So, okay, can you put that back? Can you put that back into the plates so that I will just pay for it that way? So the point is that they realized that when they gave clients ahead of time a full package or a full plate of all the things that came with a certain price, it became difficult for clients to decide, you know what, I don't, let me back out, take out some things. People just felt, instead of taking out anything, let me just have it the way it is. So the point of give all and take out some is that start with the top, start with the most expensive, give them everything that you think you can offer them. Then if they feel like it's too expensive or it's too high for them, you take some things out. And most times you realize that you can even sell higher because of that. They don't want you to take anything else. Depending on how you sell it, because if you sell it properly, they would love it and want to do business with you. Then finally, summary, I said we give 3 options: break the price into fragments, sell the desire or problem, and ask what their plans are, use urgency, share testimonials, social proof, give all and take out some. And finally, use basic objection handling techniques. So somebody says, is price the only concern? Someone says, price is too high. Remember, it's a blessing when somebody tells you the price is too high. Especially if you have built rapport, you have engaged prospects properly, the prospect did most of the talking, you asked a lot of questions, they gave you their attention. So when you tell price is too high, you can tell that it's something they are genuinely interested. Now, there's even a tone of voice for price is too high. Somebody who tells you can tell that the person is really thinking about it. But somebody who says, thank you, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. You can tell that you don't even know where to start off from here. If somebody tells you, wow, price is too high, that's a good sign. So use basic objection handling techniques. Say, sir, okay, if price is only concern, if we do something about the price right now, are you in a position to go ahead? Because if just price is an issue, then you're in a good place. But there are things we can do for you. He says, price is only concern. He says, yes, the price is my only concern. So if you do something about the price now, are you ready to pay now? Now, I'm ready to pay now. Okay, just a minute, sir. Let me make a call to my boss. You step aside. Now this is psychological. I'm not, you see, some people say things like, but sir, what do you mean by let me make a call to my boss? Did you go and make a call? The point is that the boss had already given you an approval to be able to sell that product or service slightly below the amount you've quoted. So, stepping aside, it's almost as good as saying that instead of me to have had a conversation in my office with my boss, I decided to have the conversation now. But I didn't have it now. I had it earlier. So I just did something I'm going to do now, but I did it earlier. So there's nothing wrong with that. So you just step aside, and of course, he's not going to see you. He said, give me a minute, sir. You go out of the room. When you come back with some emotion, and you say, sir, I have good news for you, sir. Management has approved. We are going to give you a 10% discount. And this means we're going to be taking out 1 million naira. Ha! Sir, congratulations. I'm not sure we've done this for anybody like this. Congratulations, sir. So, sir, what bank would you be transferring from? What name would you like on the offer letter? Then you just act like you're about to close. Don't wait for feedback when you do this kind of thing. Another thing you can also say is, oh, sir, congratulations. Fantastic. We've offered to give you a 3-month payment plan. So you're going to be able to pay one. Now, the excitement you show is what of the process make a decision. Don't go there and say it's like, okay, sir, we can give you a payment plan. And that's why you should never mention payment plan before you get to this point. A payment plan is not a value proposition. A discount is not a value proposition. You'd never bring it up. Because if you bring it up, then I don't know what would you use now? So it's like a joker. It's like when you play cards and you have a joker, your set of cards. If you're just starting, you drop your joker, then you will lose your chances of winning the game. But if you drop all your other cards and you have the joker last, you've already won. So leave your discounts and leave your payment plan to the end, like a joker that can help the prospects move above the line to make a decision. So if you ask the client, is price your only concern? And the person says, yes, price is my only concern. If you can do something about the price now, are you ready to pay now? And he says, I'll pay by next week, Tuesday. Okay, then let's have the conversation next week, Tuesday. Would that be fine? Because if I talk to my management now, I'm not getting approval, they will need you to act like immediately. So let me have the conversation with next week, Tuesday. So you want to make sure that the moment the discount or the payment plan is given, payment is made on the spot. And that's where you have full control over the conversation. All right, thank you so much for listening. I trust you enjoyed yourself like I've enjoyed myself today. Please remember to share this video with others, and I look forward to seeing you again in our next video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.